One of the greatest and iconic video game characters is back, and what a perfect time to sit down and check it out, because Melbourne just went into a third lockdown. Anyways, Mario is back on the Nintendo Switch, but it's half and half of a original game and a must-play somewhat classic. I'll be taking a look at both Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, and telling you if it's worth your time and money. We'll start with the re-release of Super Mario 3D World. This was originally released on the Wii U, the console no one ever really knew about, and for those of you who owned a Wii U, you knew how good and fantastic this game was. Rather than the traditional 2D Mario platformer or the 3D games like Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 3D World is a merge between sort of both. The playstyle will change depending on what level you're playing, and some levels will simply start as a 2D game before actually slowly turning into a 3D style. Gameplay is what you'd expect from a Mario game, incredibly simple, but polished to perfection. Now you've got your standard jump and run like you'd expect. Now honestly, if you've never played a Mario game before, what the hell dude? You'll also have power-ups that'll change how Mario and other characters play, giving them offensive abilities. Mario and the gang can throw fire with the fire plant, which again is...
It's pretty standard, really.
Then there's the cat skin, which turns Mario into, well, a cat. This allows Mario to climb walls and hang onto them for a short period of time, and even scratch attack enemies. Again, pickups are exactly what you'd expect and what you're known for in Mario games. Where Mario Super 3D World shines is in its multiplayer. Now as you can see, I played Super Mario 3D World with Mrs. Dudi, and it's not only cooperative, but it's competitive. You see, in Super Mario 3D World, it can be played from start to finish before players couch co-op or online co-op. Now players can obviously be the Mario brothers, but Toad and Peach are also here too. With the Switch system itself, it's always a snap to easily convert to multiplayer mode, and the simplistic nature of Mario games are great on the Joy-Cons. Now at the end of each level, everyone will be given a score. You will get points for defeating enemies, collecting stars and levels, collecting power-ups, or landing on the flagpole. If you land on the flagpole at the top, you'll get a heap of points. Anyways, yes, at the end of each level you'll be scored, and whoever comes first will be given a crown. And with my mates, it's always been about who gets the crown. It's something really simple and stupid, but it changes the couch game big time. You and your mates or kids or partner or whoever will be competing for who has the highest score and who gets to wear the crown for the next level. The story here in Super Mario 3D World is what you'd expect from a Mario game. Mario and the gang are walking around doing their thing when they notice this see-through pipe sitting in the middle of the road. These tiny fairy princesses have been kidnapped by Bowser, and you set out to free them. From here it's the classic Mario map, but there's also some fun little niceties too. There's a small little roulette game that you can play that gives you extra coins or it drops buffs. There's Toad's house where he'll gift items with you with, well, coins and buffs, and there's even some hidden levels too. To progress in Super Mario 3D World, you'll need to collect green stars. Now each level has a total of 3 green stars, and they'll be used to unlock the boss level at the end of each world. It's a pretty simple and pretty great system that gives you an excuse to play levels again. Now there's also special levels where you play as Captain Toad, Treasure Hunter. These special levels will reward you with 5 green stars upon completion, but they're not your traditional levels. You see, Toad can't jump, and you'll need to maneuver around a puzzle-like map. Now, to be fair, they'll start off pretty easy before getting progressively harder as you continue in Super Mario 3D World. Now we've got a new and a first for a Mario game included with Super Mario 3D World on the Switch, and that's Bowser's Fury. The story again is pretty simple. Mario's doing his thing, walking around when he takes notice of some black goo on the ground. He follows it and falls into a strange, weird world where there's a giant Bowser who looks fucking fantastic. Now Bowser has gone mad with power, and Bowser Jr. asks Mario for help to stop him. Now if you played Mario Odyssey, the gameplay here in Bowser's Fury is pretty much the same, except you won't be throwing a cap onto enemies and controlling them. Now after a short introductory period, you'll have Bowser Jr. joining you who can help Mario take out enemies. You'll also be able to control how much Bowser Jr. helps you in the menus too, so if you've got a kid who needs some help playing as Mario, there's a setting for Bowser Jr. to basically take out every enemy in front of them. Now just like in Super Mario 3D World, you have power-ups that buff Mario, and they're basically the same from Super Mario 3D World. Now the open world of Bowser's Fury is covered in this black goo, and it's a little bit similar to Mario Sunshine. Hell, even the color palette is pretty much Mario Sunshine. Now the world of Bowser's Fury has lighthouses that keep the giant Bowser in check. After about 5 to 10 minutes, Bowser will appear out of this black goo sea and start spinning around, flinging goo around the map, blocking these lighthouses. Now once all the lighthouses have been covered, Bowser will appear and shoot fire from his mouth and spikes from his back, which is pretty cool. Now, when he does this, it does change the game up a little bit, and it can really change the dynamic of levels. Now, to stop Bowser, all you need to do is find a single lighthouse and clean it, which will blind him and put him back into the sea, or wait until he gets bored, which is generally just a couple of minutes. Now, throughout each level, well, I wouldn't really say level because Bowser's Fury is an open game, but throughout the world there are these cat shrine tokens to collect, which when collected are used to ring a Giga Cat Bell, transforming Mario into a Super Saiyan Cat Mario. Yeah, I'm not joking, look at the hair. From here you take on Mega Bowser as Mega Cat Mario, and the fight is what you'd expect from a Mario game. Avoid Bowser's attacks, even throw some of his spikes back at him, and then when he jumps into the air you'll need to avoid getting slammed on, but then when he hits the ground he'll send out a shockwave that you'll need to avoid, and then you'll jump on Bowser's belly because he's stuck upside down. Now if Bowser hits you, you'll lose your Super Saiyan Cat powers and you'll revert to a normal Giant Mario, and if you hit again you'll be a mini Giant Mario as well, if that makes sense. Now Bowser's Fury is a pretty simple game, but the multiplayer is a bit like an add-on that was thrown in at the 11th hour. Player 2 will simply play as Bowser Jr., and while you will be able to fly around the map and attack, which again is
Pretty standard, really.
However, the camera for multiplayer will only follow Mario, and it's near impossible, well, I'd say it's impossible for Bowser Jr. to be able to see where they're going and what they're doing. Me and Mrs. Dudi tried out the multiplayer for Bowser's Fury, and we lasted maybe about 10 minutes before she got angry and gave up. It's also a pretty short mode or game with only about 3 to 4 hours long if you're just following around Bowser and trying to defeat him. If you're trying to find every collectible in each area, then it's maybe about 6, maybe. I'd say if you're only going to buy this Mario collection for Bowser's Fury, you'll get more time with Mario 3D World than you will with Bowser's Fury. Now that's not to say it's a bad mode, hell no, the attention to detail in this game is rad, like the cats in this world approaching you if you own a cat outfit. You can also see Bowser rise out of the sea, which is cool because it gives you this gauge of how long you'll be able to tell before Mega Bowser appears. But a question you may have, what if you've already played or owned Super Mario 3D World from the Nintendo Wii U days? Should you get it again? And that kind of depends. If you have friends over and you drink beer and play Mario, it's great for that. Super Mario 3D World is great to play with kids or people who aren't overly fans of video games, like Mrs. Dudi. The gameplay is fantastic and everything here is up to Nintendo's very high standards, so there's no real bugs or issues here and there. Besides the fact that you'll have the theme music stuck in your head, which honestly isn't that bad. The only nitpick I really have with Super Mario 3D World is that there are only 4 players to choose from. It would have been great if we could choose Yoshi, or Donkey Kong, or Wario, or Waluigi. Hey, these guys could have had their tiny princesses kidnapped as well. All in all, Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury covers all bases. It's got single player gameplay for those of you who just want to unwind and have some fun playing Mario, but if you've got friends or kids or someone else who wants to play, you can easily swap over to Super Mario 3D World. Of course, Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury is available now on the Nintendo Switch, but I have a question for you. A debate more so between myself and Scriptable, actually. We all know Mario is the best platformer, or at least myself and Scriptable can agree on that, but what we want to know is what's better out of these two, Crash Bandicoot or Banjo-Kazooie, and why. Now I'll be back in a couple of days with more Star Wars, Avengers Hawkeye DLC, and I'll be jumping face first into the Elder Scrolls Online 2. So if you enjoyed this video or any video on my channel, feel free to suggest some games, flick the video a like and subscribe if you want to see more.